just needed to happen.
You mentioned training. What's your background?
The Army tactical training is what I didn't pull the trigger on purpose.
Female scream, "Oh my God, he's been shot! 911, 911.
Oh God.
This is James Taylor, and he has just realized that his son is actually the culprit behind a horrific crime. Whitney Gray, a 22-year-old mom from Independence, Missouri, was driving home with her niece and 2 children after a quick trip to the grocery store, but a brief encounter with the wrong driver escalated into an unspeakable tragedy.
I keep thinking about that poor woman. Were the kids in the car too? Thank God. Why would he do that?
On the evening of October 16, 2016, as traffic buzzed through the streets of Independence, Missouri, the city's communications center was flooded with frantic 911 calls. Witnesses reported a horrifying incident, a shooting from one person to another that had just unfolded on the road. Officers are immediately dispatched to the scene at the intersection of Winter Road and Sterling Avenue. Upon their arrival, they noticed a woman lying on the ground next to her vehicle, covered in blood. Inside the vehicle, the woman's niece and 2 young children were sobbing uncontrollably. The officers quickly secured the area, moving the distraught passengers to safety while desperately attempting to provide medical aid to the woman.
Who is she to you, ma'am?
She's my aunt.
She's your aunt? What happened?
Some guy kept cutting us off, and I yelled at him, and he shot.
This is her.
Unfortunately, the gunshot wound the woman sustained turned out to be fatal. The officers then collected statements from multiple witnesses who recounted the chilling event.
We got multiple witnesses on scene here.
I only heard one gunshot. She was the driver. He cut her off or something, and then I heard the shot. I was behind him, and then I seen him speed off, and then I just pulled over. He was in a white truck or white SUV.
Detectives Steve Brashears and Brian Draveling arrive on the scene to investigate and conclude that Whitney had been shot in the chest with an almost perfect aim, suggesting that the shooter is someone well acquainted with weapons. Meanwhile, officers canvassed the neighborhood, knocking on doors in search of surveillance cameras that might have captured the incident. Their persistence paid off when they located a home north of the scene with functioning cameras. Detective Todd Winborn reviewed the footage, which showed Whitney's minivan coming to a stop on the side of the road just moments before the first 911 calls were made. Rewinding the video a few seconds earlier, the detectives focused on witness accounts describing the suspect vehicle, a large white truck or SUV. As they played the footage, a large white SUV could be seen driving past the same area where Whitney's car came to a halt. This was their first glimpse of the suspect's vehicle, but unfortunately, a license plate was not visible. The footage was collected and brought back to the station for detailed analysis. Back at the station, detectives began interviewing several witnesses who reported seeing the 2 vehicles stopped at an intersection. What unfolds in the following interrogation footage makes for one of the most incredible and astounding cases I've come across. A crime so utterly sad and despicable that even today, detectives are trying to understand the motives behind it.
So, basically just tell me about the incident last night, what you saw.
Okay, so my sister and I were coming home from Walmart, going north on Sterling, and at 23rd and Sterling, right in front of Price Chopper, her and I, my car was the first one at the light in the right-hand lane.
So you go on north?
Yeah, and the van lady was right next to me. And
so she was in the left-hand lane, both of you were going to go north?
Yes.
Were you driving?
Yes.
Okay.
We just happened to roll down the windows at that point, and
it was nice out last night.
Yeah, and the traffic was heavy. I do remember that, but it didn't feel like anybody was, rushed or upset or anything. And I remember looking over and glancing. I saw the 2 women in the front seat. I remember kids. And, no biggie. My sister and me are here talking. They're there talking. And right after we pulled through the, across 23rd Street, shortly after that, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there was this great big SUV right on her, like this as close as he could get without hitting her. Yeah. And my sister and I were like, what the? Like, what's his problem? But then what really freaked us out, when he finally did go over, he didn't do this. He didn't get over, and passed her.
Yeah.
He went like this, and he was still in her lane. He didn't hit the van,
It
but he
became very
was
close.
so close. And then he if she'd been driving normal, he would have nicked her front corner of her car.
Cutting back off in front of her.
He like cut her right off.
And the truck comes to a stop, the van comes to a stop.
Okay.
I see a cup fly out of the passenger side window of the van, hits the back of the truck.
Okay.
And I mean, almost as soon as it hit the truck, the light changed. As soon
Okay.
as the light changed, the white pickup truck just stomped on the gas, made it about half of his truck was
So half a car length.
It was
in front of the van. So I mean, like if this is the front of the van, he like about like that.
Yeah, pretty much just like that.
Okay.
And then that's whenever I heard the pop. I seen the poof of smoke come out the driver's side window of the truck. I never seen anybody. The window was tinted.
Okay.
I couldn't see.
So you never did see an arm go out the window or anything like that?
I never seen the gun.
Never even see the gun.
No,
but you heard the pop.
I heard the pop.
Saw the smoke.
I seen the smoke. It almost is what it looked like. I mean, from the way everything was, it almost looked like he may have had it in, center console, grabbed it, reached over himself,
probably,
and squeezed the trigger. Is what it looked like.
A female screamed, "Oh my God, she's been shot! 911, 911!" I come flying up north, so I used to be an EMT paramedic back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran over there, and I had tried to get dispatch on my cell phone, which I wasn't being able to get anybody to let them know that there was a female on the ground.
There was a lot of people calling,
Yeah, but somebody already had this one. The guy on the motorcycle, I didn't catch his name. He can tell me what his name was, but he was on the ground, trying to compress her chest. First, my initial was that she was hitting the neck, because I seen the blood, like right there, and he was holding over the thing.
Can't identify the race or gender of the driver of that truck.
The windows were so dark. Even the very back one was dark.
The back one of the cab of the
yeah,
truck.
because you couldn't even see, and like normally you can make out if there's 2 or 3 people in the back of a truck or something. You couldn't even. It was super dark.
Investigators then sit down with Whitney's niece, who's visibly shaken and struggling to process the shock, to hear her account of what had happened.
We'll talk, okay? Can I get you anything? You do water or anything?
Water would be great.
Water would be great? Okay. Hold on 1 second. So I grab one. This, and my understanding is our victim is your sister, and I apologize for that, okay? We are going to work very hard, and we will find out who did this, okay? Again, I'm Detective Schmedley, and I kind of got thrown into this. Actually, I was doing something else when they called. So, and I apologize. What was your sister's name?
Whitney.
Whitney
Gray.
You were with Whitney, and that's your aunt, correct? Okay. And you were in her minivan. What were you guys doing this evening? Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me where you guys had been or where you were coming from. Okay.
We were coming from Price Chopper.
Price Chopper, there at 23rd and Sterling.
Yeah.
So you just left Price Chopper? Okay. And who is with you and Whitney?
Just the 2 boys.
Okay, 2 boys. Who are they?
And
What's his name?
Yes, yeah. 3-year-old and 8-month-old.
How are they related to or
They're Whitney's children.
okay, they're Whitney's boys.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And that's one of the boys' names is actually
Yeah.
okay. How old is he?
He's 3.5.
Okay, so 3.5. And I assume they got last name of
Well, I'm pretty sure has his dad's last name. I think both of them have their dad's last name, and they're 2 different dads.
Okay, that's okay. How old is
8 months old.
8 months.
His dad's Brett Brooks. He was at the scene with my mother.
Okay. All right, so it's just you 4, correct? Okay. Whitney's driving the minivan, correct? You're in the front passenger seat?
yeah.
Okay. Boys are in the back? Okay. Okay, so you just left Price Chopper. You get out onto Sterling there, okay, and you're going north, okay? Okay. When you pull out of the lot, any issues with anyone?
No.
Okay. You pull out, you're going north. What happens?
Some guy starts getting real close to the car, so she gets mad. She brake checks him a little bit.
Okay, so Whitney brake checks him because he's getting too close. And when you say getting too close, he's tailgating you at that point.
Yeah.
Did he come right up on you, or was he there? Did you guys?
She noticed it. I didn't.
Okay, so you didn't even notice it at that point. Okay. Did she tell you someone was tailgating her, or did she make a comment?
Yeah.
What was her comment?
Someone tried my ass.
And at that point, did you look back? Did you see who was?
I turned around back.
Okay. What could you tell? What type of vehicle it was?
I just saw it was white.
White.
According to the niece, the car had been tailgating them before eventually passing their vehicle. She then admitted to doing something that may have provoked the aggressive driver further.
What happens? I mean...
We get up to a light.
Okay.
And he comes around and he's like parallel to us.
Okay, so he's side by side. Okay, and I think that intersection we're talking about is there at Winter and Sterling. Okay, so do you come to a stop at the light?
Yeah.
And he pulls alongside you, okay? And so he's on your passenger side.
Yeah.
Okay. What goes on at that point? Was there any words exchanged?
She yelled, "I have kids in the car," and he leaned his head out and said, "I don't give a f."
Okay, hang on one second. What happened from there?
She told me to throw the drink at him and we pulled away.
Okay, so Whitney told you to throw a drink at him? So what'd you throw at him?
Water.
Was it a cup of water? And so you threw the water at him. Did it hit the truck?
Yeah.
I don't want to say truck. Hit the white vehicle. Okay, we'll get to that here in just a second. What happened then? What do you recall?
He started swerving over in front of us, and I don't remember anything else.
Recall hearing anything? I mean,
it was just loud, and that's it. Like,
when you say loud, what do you mean loud?
Like a bang, like a gunshot.
Okay, so you heard a bang. When you heard this bang, you think it was a gunshot. What happened in the car? I mean, what's...
She couldn't drive, and we were swerving, so I had to sit on her lap and drive and park the car.
Did she tell you what happened?
She just kept saying she's been shot.
Okay.
This officer is so efficient at extracting information without further traumatizing the witness, the niece herself is remarkably composed, and unlike the other witnesses, she could vividly recall the man who shot her aunt, having seen him up close when their vehicles had stopped at a red light.
As he was pulled up alongside of you, I say it's a he. Did you see the driver of the vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay. Describe him to me.
He was white.
A white male?
Yeah.
Okay. Younger, older?
Early 20s.
Early 20s, so like 20 to 25? Okay.
He was kind of skinny.
Looked like he had a skinny build?
Yeah, he had blue eyes.
And why do you say blue eyes?
Because I saw him.
Okay. They stood out to you? That's one thing you noticed. Anything else? What about hair color?
He had a hat on.
Had a hat? What did his hat look like? Like a baseball cap?
Kind of like a fedora.
A fedora? So it was like one of the hats that has a brim all the way around it.
Golfer's hat.
What color was it? Okay, that's fine. Do you recall seeing any hair coming out from underneath the fedora?
No.
What about facial features? Mustache, beard, goatee?
Scruff like he just shaved.
Okay, so unshaven? Glasses, tattoos. Did you see any of his arms or anything? So when you were side by side and Whitney had screamed at him, did he lean out the window or anything?
And leaned his head out.
Leaned his head out. Okay. Know about what was he wearing a shirt or anything?
I didn't
don't recall, but a fedora, like a fedora hat. Okay. If you saw him again, could you identify him, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. I know he's unshaven, but that you really couldn't tell maybe a hair color or anything because he was unshaven. I mean, it didn't stand out like he had a red. Had you ever seen this person before? So this was just a random act then? Never met him before? Never met you didn't have any issues with anyone inside the price chopper or anything? Describe the vehicle that he was driving. You said it was white. You know, when you pulled up, what did you think it was? I mean, do you recall?
I don't know. It could have been an SUV. Yeah.
Okay. Was it as big as the minivan? I mean...
Yeah, pretty even.
Okay, so it wasn't a passenger car then. So you think it was possibly an SUV, maybe a truck?
Yeah.
Anything about that vehicle that stands out to you, that you can think of? Was it dirty? Was there damage to the truck? Anything, anything on the side of the truck?
Was it newer? Was it older?
Newer, older, anything. And that's fine. You had a lot going on, and like I said, but that's probably the best description we've had so far of what this guy looks like. Anything else you can think of about the guy? Did you ever see the gun or anything? Never saw the gun? You didn't stick it out a window or anything like that? Right. You wasn't looking when he shot.
Where did he shoot from? What angle was he at? Is he beside you, in front of you?
Kind of in front. He was like swerving over into my...
He like swerved over, shot back.
Yeah, I think my understanding is, from what our witness is saying, was that they were side by side. You guys were in the turn lane as if you were going to go west on Winter, and he was in the center lane. And as soon as the light turned, he started to go. As soon as he moved forward, I think that's when the shot came. So I mean, he had just started forward and fired the shot because I think it came through the front passenger window, and it must have hit Whitney from there. But like I said, we'll get them. Okay, just have patience. So we got a lot of detectives working on it right now.
This is crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. This is
of a road rage, pretty much is what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
To rule out the possibility that the altercation originated from any interaction the group might have had at the grocery store, Detective Draveling reviewed the surveillance footage from the price chopper, but found no evidence to support the theory. Whitney's only interaction with the suspect and his vehicle occurs as she exits the parking lot. She briefly slows down the suspect's car, which is traveling at a high speed. Detective Winborn obtained the footage from a Taco Bell that was diagonally opposite the grocery store, but it gave them no clear image of the suspect's vehicle. The next day, during the briefing, Detective Draveling identified the vehicle as an early 2000s Toyota Sequoia. One team of investigators focused on Department of Motor Vehicle records, while another retraced the suspect's movements. Their efforts led them to a quick trip gas station and convenience store equipped with state-of-the-art surveillance cameras. And in this obtained footage, we can appreciate our suspect parking his vehicle and then walking around the store to ultimately leave empty-handed, not without providing the police with a clear visual of his face. Investigators ran the license plate, which traced back to an apartment in Independence, Missouri, registered to a man named James Taylor. Police set up surveillance outside the residence and observed James leaving the apartment. While it was immediately clear he was not the suspect because of his look, officers approached him cautiously. During their conversation, James revealed they were likely looking for his son, Chris. So he willingly agreed to accompany the detectives to the station for further questioning.
Has he ever had any periods like this where he'll not answer the phone, or is this unusual?
He has had periods where he wouldn't answer the phone. But whether, like I'm a worrier. I come from a long line of them, so I come by it honestly. If I couldn't get a hold of him, I'd call his mom and ask her if she had heard from him. Because I'm just afraid of for his welfare. I hate to say it, but I don't like that area over there. I used to live over there off of Truman Road, just right up the street from Quick Trip, and it was horrible. And I was worried about him all the time, being over there.
So living over there on Shealy Road?
Yeah. And not necessarily living on Shealy that I was worried about. It was him traveling through that area, You know, that's just me.
Yeah.
I just worried about it. I don't know, what was your question?
No, that's. My question was, does he ever get to, like, where he's fuming and he won't answer his phone?
Oh,
like
yeah,
this?
yeah. Like I said, a couple of times he did that. But then again, a couple of times he said, well, phone's on the charger. I didn't know you were calling. You know.
So does he have any family members that he was ever really, really close to?
No.
That say have passed away or anything like that?
No. Well, yeah. My dad, his grandfather, he was real close. He came, matter of fact, they gave him leave from the Army to come back for his funeral. And he took it real hard. You know, and then when he went back a couple of days later, it wasn't but a week and a half later that my mom died. And they wouldn't let him leave. They told him, if you do, you can't come back. You know, so.
You said he was discharged for financial?
Yes.
What?
A
Do you have any
financial.
more information on that, or?
He owed a lot of money. He when he went in, you know, they promised him this $10,000 bonus sign-on. You know, well, they don't tell you that, you know, you're not actually going to get that much. You know. Anyway, he had borrowed $5,000 on a credit card, and still had this house that, you know, needed to be paid for. He had, at that time, he had a bank account. He had a storage unit that his car was stored in, and his grandma and I, his grandma on my wife's side, was helping me pay all these bills, and he knew, you know, that we couldn't do it. And when he talked to his commander, they just, see ya.
Does he have a storage unit now?
No, he got, matter of fact, before he even got back, I pulled the car out of there, paid the guy what was owed, and took the car over to my apartment then. That was years ago, though.
James goes on to describe Chris as anti-government, heavily involved in prepping, and deeply committed to a survivalist lifestyle. He described Chris as not being very social and was surprised when he wanted to enlist in the military, but thought it was very honorable. James did not know where Chris was, but told detectives that a lot of his personal property, including a handgun, camping gear, and his car had gone missing. James believed Chris was hiding from them in the woods.
They're going to come to your house. Yeah. Well, you know, I know Becky doesn't know. Becky doesn't know as much about it as I do. So anyway, and they already knew where he lived. You know, so.
James, visibly shaken, had called his ex-wife to share what had happened. His shock and disbelief over his son's actions are unmistakable, reflected in his trembling hands and unsteady demeanor. Sadly for him, not too long after, he confirms the worst.
I told her where I was.
Sure.
You know, no sense lying about it, and told them that they were going to be questioned. They're going to be questioned. They're not going to run. She's just like I am. They have nothing to hide, and they even know less than I do.
See, you're not under arrest or anything.
Oh, I know. I know.
You're here as we view, trying to help us locate your son.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
My sergeant showed you this.
Yeah, I know. That's my son. I forgot that he wore that type of a hat.
That's why I kind of asked you hats.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to initial this and say, this is my son, this is, write out his name?
Hopefully I can do it without shaking too bad.
Then, it finally dawns on him.
Oh, God.
It's hard for James to think that he has a son who is wanted for such a crime. His heart is broken over what has happened with his son, but he also cries when he thinks of the lady's children, showing us the type of person he is.
Where he was, where they got the picture. I mean, I know you can't tell me a lot, but...
We can't really tell you a whole lot at this point on some of this stuff, and I apologize for that.
No, I understand.
But like I said, our goal is we want to talk to Chris, and we want to get him here to talk to him safely. That's our goal. I know that's your goal.
Yes. But I'll tell you, don't give your life up for it. And I'm serious. You know, he knows he's got to know that you're looking for him.
Yes, sir.
You know, and whether or not he would just give up, I don't know.
Okay. But I appreciate your concern there. We're going to do everything to keep everybody safe.
I know you will.
That's our number one goal.
Yeah. And believe me, I hope that I'm coming across as someone that really appreciates you guys.
No, you are.
Yeah.
You've shown a great amount of concern for us and everybody else just coming up here to talk to us. We appreciate that greatly.
Well, you're welcome. You know, I wish it was under different circumstances, but, you know, I told him years ago, man, that you get yourself in jail, I won't get you out.
Yeah.
You know, you get in there, you're going to be just like my dad did. You got your ass in there, you can get your ass out. Yeah. You know, so he knew that he couldn't come to me.
Yes, sir.
You know, he can't go to his mom. You know, and I'm being so honest with you guys. You know, that's why I kept saying, you know, hoping that he never finds out. And I keep thinking about that poor woman or the kids in the car, too. Thank God. Why would he do that?
Sir, you'll probably never be able to answer that.
I know that.
You'll never know what was going through his mind, or I won't either.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I know.
Who knows?
It's just
there's a lot of unanswered questions for us and everybody right now. So
right.
That's what we're hoping to figure out.
Chris's father, telling the detective to keep himself safe and not give up his life trying to take his son into custody, says a lot about his son's tendency towards violence, and even more about James's character and integrity. Chris broke the hearts of two families that evening, the victims and his own.
Look at your daughter.
Yeah.
You raised her, right?
Yeah. But we did have trouble with her. Well, she was a runaway.
Well,
oh my God.
I'm not saying my parents didn't ever have trouble with me, sir, or my sister, or anything.
Right.
But, you get through what everybody calls the rough years. And, you know, most of the time it works out.
Yeah, it does.
But when you get late teens and you become a young adult and you start making your own decisions and you lead yourself where.
Yeah. Well, you know, there for quite a while, even up to the point where when he went into the service, he didn't have any outlook ahead of him, you know, and then he went in the service and he really wanted to be in there. You know, that was one of the things that just astounded me, that he wanted to go in. He enlisted, and we thought that, you know,
that's an honorable thing to do.
Yes,
you know?
yes. And then when he came out, he went right to work and has been working. You know, it didn't work for his uncle, but he worked, you know.
Yeah.
And so we thought everything was cool. They just don't have a flashing light on them, do they? That says, I'm turning.
If it was that easy, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, you know, it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do is to sit and talk about my son like this. But I wish to God that all these people whose sons are out killing other people would do it.
They could take a lesson from you. They really could.
Well,
with limited time to catch the killer before he went off the grid, investigators leave no stone unturned. While investigating Chris's vehicle, they discovered it had been financed through a local dealership. Reaching out to the dealer, they learned the vehicle was equipped with an inbuilt GPS tracker, whose last recorded location was on Interstate 90 near Box Elder, South Dakota. The vehicle stopped at the La Quinta Hotel in Rapid City. South Dakota state law enforcement was notified, and the Rapid City Police Department SWAT team devised a plan to apprehend Chris. One, as if taken from a fiction movie, but in real life. After clearing the guests in the hotel, Rapid City police officers staged a car crash by ramming into Chris's vehicle. Chris was informed about the accident by front desk employees. The ruse worked, and Chris exited his room unarmed to check on his car. That was when he was seized by officers stationed outside his room and taken into custody. Taken without a single shot fired. A quick search of Chris's vehicle yielded multiple firearms and thousands of rounds of ammunition. Officers then booked and questioned Christopher Taylor at the Rapid City Jail pending extradition to Missouri.
Get that moved up. Doing better?
No, it's just this.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's fine.
I didn't realize they had that much weight that they would sit there and... Just the downward pressure of them.
Yeah.
Other than that, they treating you okay over there? Everything going good over there?
Yeah, really nice.
Good. Good deal. Well, let me make sure. Like I said, my name is Detective Tolman. Need to get your information. Christopher, or you go by Chris or Christopher?
Chris.
Chris. Legal name's Christopher, but...
Yeah.
Like I said, my name is Detective Tolman. This is Investigator Andrews. It's with the Sheriff's Department. Like I said earlier, down there in the cell, we kind of want to talk to you and get your side of the story here. We got contacted by a different agency, obviously, and asked if we could try to make contact with you, and that's how, we located you at the motel. So we want to talk to you a little bit about that. Are you originally from Missouri?
Yes.
Okay, born and raised there?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go to high school, college, or?
High school.
High school, any college?
A little bit. You didn't finish it, though.
Didn't finish it? What college did you go to?
Longview Community.
Just a small community college. What were you going to school for?
Graphic design.
What kind of work did you do?
Construction.
Like residential stuff or commercial stuff? Or?
Yeah, residential remodeling.
Gotcha. Since you're obviously in custody, you're sitting there in the handcuffs, you're not free to take off and leave. We have to read you Miranda. Okay, that's part of for what we have to do when you're in custody. Okay, I'll read you through these, and at the end we'll see if we can talk to you about what happened. Right?
After having read him his rights, Chris's interrogation begins.
You know why we're here. You know what we're wanting to probably talk about, and we've got, especially us, we've got one side of the story that was given to us from law enforcement in Missouri, and kind of just a synopsis of what they did as far as their investigation and what they found out, and we want to see, basically your side of the story and see where it, fits in with their investigation. You seem like a pretty honest guy to me so far, and I'm hoping we can have just a good open discussion and kind of iron out all the details. The incident that we're investigating, obviously, was a gal getting shot. And that happened on the 16th, so that would have been Sunday evening. I'd like to go back to, say, Sunday morning. If you can recall back, Sunday morning, and kind of give us a rundown of what you did that day leading up to, this incident happening. And I'll just kind of leave it open to you to just kind of fill us in what your day was like.
Since the detectives want to know all the information they can, the detective adopts a calm and approachable demeanor with Chris, aiming to put him at ease and encourage him to open up during their conversation.
6:15. That there was straight to the grocery store, Hy-Vee and Nolan, and Independence. Bought groceries. Went home. Went to the gas station to get some water. And went back home, left again, heading north on Sterling, and I was sitting at the light at 23rd Street in Sterling. There's a vehicle in front of me, come from one to the right. We started, the light turned green, we were going up the hill, and the car in front of me was going slow. And I was just sitting there waiting for them to speed up, but they didn't, so I waited for somebody to clear off to the side, and I sped up and went around them to get up to the speed limit. And right then, the van starts speeding up next to me and yelling at me, and I rolled out the window, and she says, "My kids are in the car." And I said, "Okay, well, you can at least do the speed limit." And I started to speed up. Well, they sped up too, and whoever was in the passenger seat threw something at the car. And with my training and everything, it was almost like reacting to contact. And it was instantaneous. It didn't even think, it just happened. And I don't know why, but it was a negligent discharge without looking. So I fully missed making the shot, but God knows it didn't mean it to happen.
What happened after that?
I freaked the out. I couldn't, it was like, I couldn't believe what had happened. I panicked. I'm like, "Oh my God, what did I do? So I didn't know what to do. I just hit the gas. I turned, I went back home, and I sat there. And I'm like, stewing over this, and I didn't know what the hell to do. I was so freaking scared. And I sat there. I didn't know what had happened. All I knew is that I freaking negligently discharged my freaking firearm in the city limits. So I went home. I heard on the radio that someone was shot and killed, and I freaked out. I couldn't believe it. So I panicked. I started packing up all my stuff. Originally I was packing it just to freaking get it out. And I'm like, I didn't know what to do. So I put everything in the car and I just started driving. And there we are.
Suspects like Chris are a stark reminder of why it is never a good idea to engage with aggressive drivers. These kinds of people have issues with themselves and are just chomping at the bit to take it out on others and the slightest provocation. Emotional and coming to terms with what happened, Chris provides an explanation for his drastic actions.
You appear to be a guy that tries to do right,
never done anything
caring
wrong.
person, and I don't think you meant to kill somebody here.
I never meant to hurt anybody at all.
And I can obviously tell you're really remorseful about the chain of events and what happened.
Hey, Chris, when you mentioned training, what's your background?
The Army.
Army time? What'd you do there?
I just went through basic and AIT, but I had to get out for a financial hardship separation.
Okay.
No, just training-wise, just like anything else, it's just tactical training. It's just like the police do, they react to contact. If maybe I didn't do it correctly, I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but it was just natural.
Yeah, it happened fast.
But
let me ask you a question. I'm guessing you're talking with a handgun, was it?
Yes.
What kind of handgun?
A Smith & Wesson M&P 40 caliber.
40 cal?
Full size images.
4.25 barrel.
So typically, would you just, it would be an object in your car for protection, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a daily carry.
Okay. So do you carry it on your person or in the vehicle or either?
In the vehicle.
Okay. So like in that particular day, where would it usually be kept?
Right next to me, between the seat and the center console.
So not in it, but kind of in that crevice there. Yeah.
Is it holstered up or is
holstered?
Yeah. Okay, so there's a holster there for it.
You recognize anybody? Wasn't anybody you knew or had run into? Or
no.
And you mentioned an object being thrown. Can you remember any details about that?
It had water or something in it.
Okay.
But it was big, whatever it was. But
bigger than this?
Yeah. Because when it hit the side of the car, and I instantly just reacted to it. And
did you know it was a water jug hitting your car, or did it?
It happened like that.
Okay.
Like I said, it was reactive contact, and it was just trained response, muscle memory.
You told him you have the gun in a holster between your seat and your console. At what point did that gun come out of the? Because you couldn't have had a negligent discharge with it in the holster, correct?
No.
So it definitely came out of the holster. When did it come out? I'm trying to get a good definition of negligent discharge.
I'm driving forward and something comes and hits the car. I always have my hand right there.
It's like we do.
And as soon as it's like that,
okay,
out the window.
Okay. So when I say negligent discharge, when you say that to us, that's a guy in the range who's not paying attention to his gun and has his finger on the trigger and puts one into the ground or into the ceiling or something like this. You're saying your reaction because of the contact was pull the gun, brought it over this direction, and boom, it went off.
No,
it wasn't like an...
It wasn't an intention. That's why I say it was a negligent discharge. I didn't pull the trigger on purpose.
Okay, you brought the gun out of the holster though, right? And swung it this direction. And I'm just guessing by your body positioning, did you even acquire a sight picture?
No.
Anything like that?
I didn't.
Was the gun in one hand or both hands?
One hand. Steering wheel.
Up over the top or under the steering?
Oh, I can't do it, but...
Yeah. Over the top. Okay. Was your window down?
Yes.
Because you guys had exchanged some words. Were you meaning to display this gun to somebody? Like they're exchanging words or something like that? You don't know what they're to the point they're throwing stuff at you? Is display this gun to back them off?
Like I said, it was just reaction to contact. It wasn't muscle memory. It wasn't anything other than that.
Chris states that he has training and a .40 caliber firearm that he keeps next to him, but does not understand what an actual negligent discharge is. A negligent discharge is when a firearm is accidentally fired due to carelessness or a lack of attention to safety rules. It is up to you to decide whether this was a negligent discharge or not. Moreover, Chris wasn't in the Army long enough to develop muscle memory. Despite knowing there were children present in the car, Chris chose to act out on his anger.
It was an accident.
Okay. And you panicked after that?
To say the least.
Did it startle you when that thing went off in the car?
Yeah.
Did you have to clean the car out after this? You went home, cleaned the house up. Did you clean out your car, stuff like that?
No.
Did you think the shell casing's probably inside your car then?
No, the handgun was outside the window.
The handgun was outside the window. Okay. You didn't feel like, I know that's going to eject to your right, but it missed the window, huh? Didn't come back inside of your car. Like if your hand's out here like that, some of them would direct far to the rear.
The window was down from when I exchanged words.
Okay. What did you do with the gun?
It's gone.
It's gone?
I tossed it in the river.
Okay. Where in the river? You understand that's very important to find out.
No. That was it's in the state.
In Missouri?
No.
Or South Dakota?
In South Dakota.
Did you say river like Big River?
Yes, the Missouri River.
Oh.
And then the reason I tossed it was because I couldn't stand the thought of having a freaking weapon in my possession that took somebody's life.
Right side, left side of the bridge? As you're crossing, do you remember?
I went across the bridge and came back. So it's on the, if you're coming from town, it's on the left side. The right side if you're heading into town. So,
Stayed at your house. Did you sleep at night at all, or no?
no, I could sleep.
Yeah. You ever have any other confrontations with people like this?
Never.
Never.
Never even been in a fight.
Is there any other things going on in your life that's kind of been rough on you? Your dad was worried about you.
Everything's good. That's the problem. It's, you know what? Everything was good in my life. You know what's worse? The family of that girl that I killed. How the f*** am I gonna live with that, man? So I thought that when I joined the Army that I would be able to do the job. And it's probably a damn good thing that I didn't. That I had to get out. I don't know how anybody could handle doing this. Granted that in war it's justified, but what I did, I was not.
Despite his guilt and repentance, it's hard to sympathize with Chris, considering he made the choice to run away after committing murder, rather than stay back, check in on the woman, and turn himself in. What do you think? The following day, detectives questioned Chris again in order to rule out any possibility of this incident actually being an accident.
I think you touched on this yesterday, but I want to get more clarification. When did you learn that you had hit the car, more so hit a person? And, you know.
Right. So whenever I got home, I sat around, I don't know how long I was panicking, just freaking out, not knowing what to do. I got on my phone to look at the news, and that's when I saw the shooting in Independence. And I really started to freak out, but I wasn't sure if anybody had died as shooting. And then, now I'm just getting my stuff together. I guess I know that I'm either gonna freaking go to jail or what, but I start packing up all my clothes and everything that, it's not my place, and it's a rental place, and I can't leave this place this way. I can't leave that burden to my dad or anything like that to come and try to take care of it. And then at 7 o'clock in the morning, or slightly the day before, whatever, my alarm clock went off for work, and the announcement came over the radio that someone had died in that shooting. That's when I lost it.
You were already kind of in panic mode. I gotta get out of here. I gotta, before you even knew that it hit anybody, or
yeah.
Okay. When you shave your stubble off your face and stuff like that, is that normal for you to shave every so often, or is that a try not to be recognizable for a little while?
It was a panic thing. I usually wear stubble, but no, it was a panic thing.
And you thought about getting it off of there?
I don't know. I just, like I said, it was panic. It wasn't any really rational thought put behind it. It was post-traumatic. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but you understand the gist of what I'm...
I do.
Chris is a construction worker, acting like a combat vet with PTSD. He's trying his best to minimize his actions, thinking he could get away with it. Although Chris is trying his hardest to appear dumb, his quick thinking kicks in the moment detectives ask about his phone.
The prosecution is going to use any type of little tiny thing anywhere in my past or anything to try to paint me as someone that I'm not. And like that's why we were talking about the whole survival thing, being labeled as a crazy prepper or something like that. That's what they're going to do to me. And that's not who I am.
Know, too, that your defense is going to have access to all the same stuff. You know, everything that we have.
But at the same time, when stuff gets put out in the media, it becomes impossible for a fair trial.
Yeah. We deal with that here, too. Facebook. It's one of our greatest tools, but it's one of our biggest enemies, because when something bad happens with a law enforcement officer, it goes out and it's the gospel truth.
Yeah.
And we're labeled this, we're labeled that. Heck, you see firsthand down in Missouri what's going on. Mm-hmm. We know there's problems. You know there's a lot of good cops, but we're dealing with stuff that's happened down there. You know, it's the same thing.
It can happen to anybody.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So, and that's why we're going to get back. That's kind of what we're looking for the passcode for the phone for. It's a quicker, easier way to just access it. They don't have to hook it up and try to.
Can I wait on that for my lawyer?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that'll be down the road.
It's just a question that come up when we were talking over our notes. So.
Okay, well, I will grant them access when my lawyer...
Okay, yep. They'll probably still go ahead and work on getting a search warrant. And if there's some certain phones they might be able to get access to without the passcode.
They're going to force it, I mean...
No, they'll even... I think we have.
Well, I don't want to make this difficult. I just want to protect myself,
That's fine. No, that's perfectly fine. Even if you said, hey, this is my passcode right here, this is how you're going to get into it, they're still going to go write the search warrant, so a judge looks at it and says, yeah, it's reasonable. You guys got probable cause to want to check that phone out. And so then they would just have a passcode at that point. That's the reason. But you can talk to them down there about it.
I don't want to, because I've been open about everything else. It's just, digital technology is like, it's a double-edged sword like anything. Mm-hmm. And I'm not hiding anything, and I don't want anybody to think that I am. So, if it helps me out more to give it right now, I'll do it. But I would still like to wait.
That's cool.
For someone who was in tears moments ago when he was talking about the victim, Chris's quick change in tone and demeanor shows it was all an act to gain sympathy of the detectives by being apologetic.
I think a lot of people figure that since, you're in here dealing with the cops got to hate you and not respect you, stuff like that. I think that's a common misconception. I know the situation's bad, but I respect you for, seems like you're a good guy going up to this and you've been great with us. I mean, put the incident aside.
I would like to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I'm very appreciative of how nice you guys have been about this, and the officers here at this facility. I couldn't expect to have been treated better, and I'm very appreciative of that. I just don't know if I would receive the same treatment back home.
We'll be there.
I'd like to hope you would. I mean, obviously we don't know people down there.
I don't know them either.
Yeah.
And in any of our conversations, I've been talking to the sergeant and the detective down there, and I told him, he seems pretty remorseful. He's been straight up, So hopefully by the time you get down there, I don't know if they'll want to come talk to you or whatever, but they'll probably have the same, we'll convey the same image as what we're seeing down there when they go back down there. So hopefully it won't, get approached in a good manner.
Christopher Taylor was ultimately charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. After several months in prison, A jury convicted Christopher Taylor of involuntary manslaughter, which carries a maximum sentence of 7 years, and armed criminal action, which carries at least a 3-year sentence. On August 24th, 2018, Jackson County Judge Marco Roldan sentenced Chris to 7 years for involuntary manslaughter and 17 years for armed criminal action. The sentences run concurrently, and he gets credit for time served. In his victim impact testimony, Sean Gray, the victim's father, debunked Chris's claim about Army training based on his own and his son's military experience and added that Chris was very careless with his weapon. Whitney's children, just 6 months and 3 years old at the time of her death, are now in the care of their grandparents, Sean and his wife. It's deeply heartbreaking to know that they question daily about their mother, wondering where she is and when she'll return. Whitney's case is a humbling reminder of how fragile life is and how just one act of recklessness can change many lives. I hope you enjoyed my production. Please subscribe so we can continue making the best crime videos out there. Thank you.